former Baptist minister.
No, Mike Huckabee. Huckabee.
He was a minister.
Yeah.
He was a minister before he ran for president.
Right.
And he's indoctrinated.
What a cunt! He is right there. He is at the apex of the Zionist sphere of influence. Well, they're special people.
Yes.
They're special people. And that's what this whole fucking country and its military in the Middle East is based on right now. They're special people. The little hat people are special people. They're special people. Not Americans. Not you. Not me, not people that live in this country whose infrastructure is crumbling, and because the infrastructure is crumbling and our government is not taking care of it, you have less and less options as the years go on. Not us. They're special people. They're very special, Harry.
Yes, they are.
Yes.
God chose them.
God chose them.
And what's their sign between them and God?
I don't know. What's the sign between them and God?
Circumcision.
Hey, listen. Chop off a little piece of your wiener, and I'll know you're serious.
Yeah.
Just the tip. Just the tip.
Chop off your foreskin on the 8th day.
on the 8th day of Christmas, my Jew love gave to me. Chop off your wiener. And there was nothing in the pear tree.
That was called the brisk.
The brisk.
And I'd like to know what the rabbis did with the little foreskins.
I don't know. There's a lot of theories around that. That all sounds like Jews drink the blood of Christian babies with straws sort of bullshit. Like they eat the foreskins or they turn them into pancakes. Dude, relax. Relax. There's plenty of things to actually be upset about. There's a whole ideology here that's called Zionism. That's something to actually be upset about. I don't care if they eat the foreskins of babies because they're already cut off. I have a problem with them mutilating male babies. That's a problem. Once it's cut off, I really don't care what they do with it. If their motivation to cut it off is because they want to eat it, then the motivation is the problem. However, currently stated, the problem is they're mutilating babies and also their ideology, where we're going to kill anybody that thinks that we can't have this land that we were promised. A lot of people were saying that after Russia takes over to Ukraine, they're going to take over all of Europe. Now, once the Jews take over everything that was promised them in the Bible, are they going to stop there? Interesting question. But the United States seems to have very specific opinions about both things. We are recording.
Yes. Action!
Lights, cameras! Action. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the New World Order broadcast. We are coming to you live from the end of the world. I am your host, The Hat Man, and I am joined once again in the studio by Harry, the Tax Man. And here's what I wanted to talk about today. Harry, I think we got a good, very interesting episode lined up for everybody.
Yes.
I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole yesterday. Didn't feel like coming out of my room. Wanted to be alone. And I went into a death scroll on TikTok. I was just watching video after video after video for every piece of time that I wasn't falling asleep. And what I found is I might move to China.
Well, you've been there on a business trip, so you got used to it.
Well, the New World Order sent me on a business trip to China. China. The China virus. Because I was within the fold. I was read into a program for the New World Order where we were going to steal the sunlight from humanity and sell it back to them. So I went to China to visit their manufacturing facilities for this technology. And I was picturing the Mr. Burns thing from The Simpsons where he puts a big disc in the sky that blocks out the sun. And then you have to keep your lights on and buy energy from him. Turns out all we were doing was selling solar panels, which was a little boring.
Yeah.
And a little bit of a scam to the salespeople for reasons that, it's not really worth going into. It's not really a scam. You can make a lot of money doing it, but I got fucked.
At least you enjoy the food?
The food is great. Who doesn't like Chinese food? I mean, you're hungry again in 2 hours, so you can eat more of it, and you never get fat. What's not to enjoy?
Oh, that's good.
That's good. It's a very good thing. But I went down a little bit of this deep dive because my corporeal entity is having a little bit of a difficult time sustaining itself in the American warehouse. Both the warehouse of ideas and the warehouse of pay your rent. So I went into, the algorithm picked up on my despondency and it gave me a bunch of videos. So I thought maybe a good idea for this podcast would be to talk about some of the videos that I saw while I was doom scrolling on TikTok and just discuss them one by one. I'm starting to feel like a lot of the things that we are told about our enemies, they might be lying to us, Harry.
It's called propaganda and misinformation. Got used to that.
But Harry, I was born in this country. I'm a citizen and I belong here. I'm third generation on my mother's side and I'm sixth generation on my father's side. Why would my government lie to me?
Because they're not really your government.
What are they?
They've been taken over 150 years ago by the elite.
Ooh, who's the elite? Do they wear little hats?
1870, the robber barons, and all the shysters they had back then.
What about 1913 with the Federal Reserve?
That's my specialty, not yours.
Well, that's what I was getting into with the people with the little hats, but
yeah, well, they throw you into slavery by using words and twisting them around, and you people are still stuck as a slave. And I'll tell you what, if you compare China to this country, I think you're going to get a rude awakening to who the real enemy is.
Well, here's the thing. So I went on a deep dive and I was focused on China primarily in my research because that's like enemy number one in America right now. China's the enemy. They're terrible. They're massacring Uyghurs, the Muslim Chinese population. You have to work for $2 a day in the Apple factory, and, they have nets outside the buildings to keep you from committing suicide. Yep. You're not even allowed to kill yourself in China. In Canada, they promote it. They want you to kill yourself. But in China, you're not allowed. They have nets on the outside of the building so that they can keep you as property. So if you throw yourself out of the 8th story window, the net is going to catch you. People are going to drag you back in. You get sent to a re-education camp And then they put you back to work making our iPhones. I mean, this is the story we've all been told.
And meanwhile, it takes about, what, $5 to make an iPhone, and then this company could sell it to you for $800 to you?
I don't know.
What a ripoff.
But I know that if they were manufactured in the United States at an appropriate wage, it would be like $2,500 instead of $800.
Yeah, well.
So, I mean, somebody's taking advantage of slave labor
Cheap labor.
somewhere. I just don't know. I don't know what to think because I'm seeing so much conflicting information.
So what did you find out?
Well, first of all, I wanted to start with America bad, America bad. And then we can go over to China.
Okay.
But unfortunately, I didn't save a lot of the videos. I told you I found a lot of videos where Americans were living abroad in China and what their personal experiences were. Unfortunately, I didn't save those videos, and we were running out of time because I had to rework all of our programming and everything today. But I can describe those videos to you, but I got some that we can start out with.
Yes.
That'll be fun.
Yes.
All right. So we can watch some fun videos and have an interesting conversation. It should be a good episode. Let me go to our first video here. All right. Oh, and I found a hotkey for Insta posts, TikToks, that makes it full screen and perfectly centers it. Ooh, that's going to look good for the clips. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Hit it!
Here we go. All right. First video. Let me get my earpiece in. I figure we just watch one at a time, then we'll talk about it.
Yep.
I'll stop it when I feel like it's getting redundant.
Well, we'll get you something interesting.
Yeah.
The daughter of Robert Maxwell.
Her dad was an interesting character. There's no doubt about that.
Now,
Ghislaine
Ghislaine Maxwell
Maxwell's
was Jeffrey
father.
Epstein's partner in crime that made this business work. And she has a very interesting background. She's pictured here with her father, Robert Maxwell, who happened to be a media mogul, a textbook publisher, a known asset of Mossad, and he died under very suspicious circumstances.
He is very well known to have worked for Israel and Mossad through most of his life. Robert Maxwell was in publishing. He was a publisher, a power publisher, and his operation very much seems to be an influence operation focused around information and publishing, largely textbooks, the educational stuff that we all grew up reading.
So it's possible.
Largely, let me get out of this because I learned a new hotkey, so I got to make sure I get out of this. Largely textbooks. Largely textbooks. Now, do you remember what Rockefeller said about the educational system when his company developed it? When his company developed our education system and they turned it into a factory system, he said, and I quote, and this is an exact quote, YouTube, I am a trans man. J.D. Rockefeller said, "I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers." Yes. Your entire education system is based around getting you used to running on somebody else's schedule and regurgitating information, not thinking. You get tested based upon how you best regurgitate information that you memorize. You are not supposed to think. You get penalized for thinking. That's been my experience. I was born in 1980. What's been your experience, Gen X, Gen Z, Gen Y, Gen whatever? What the fuck?
Let's go back to 1848, what Karl Marx said about taking the education system away. And that was 100 years before.
Well, I think what they said was to infiltrate another country, you have to take over their education system. Yes. That way, you start young, and the people coming into power are already inculcated with your ideas. And J.D. Rockefeller did the same fucking thing. Yeah.
Well, that's what they did. Because most of the college professors are leftists anyway.
Now, that's true. And now I was looking at this excellent documentary that used to be on Netflix. I'm not sure if it's still there, but it's called The Cartel. And you'll know the documentary is the right one. It's called The Cartel, and it has a big picture, black background, has a big red apple. It's about the education system in America. And they were talking about the textbook system and how the textbook information nowadays has to be given the thumbs up or given the thumbs down by a specific council in Texas. because most of the textbook publishers are in Texas.
Yes.
So if you want to teach evolution to your children or anything that goes against the NIV, good old US of A Christian Bible, good luck getting it past the council in Texas.
You're talking about the Bible Belt in this country.
That Texas is the fucking buckle of the goddamn Bible Belt. And you know what? Pennsylvania is the first notch on the belt. That's when you're the fattest, and that's the first one that you put your fucking notch through on the belt.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So this guy's talking about Ghislaine Maxwell's father. That was his primary business, was textbooks.
Yeah, but he was a part of the Masada first.
There you go.
Oh, he there goes my Jewish nose.
There you go. Now you see where we're going. Now you see where I'm going, Mr. Harry. All right, let's look at the next clip. Let's look at the next clip. And
we're going to Plato?
Let me do Yeah, we're going to fucking go to Plato, bro. Yeah. I thought this through, bro. All right, here's Plato. Here we go.
Was when Plato said, "Democracy never selects the best leader, it always selects the best liar. And that is why every democracy eventually fails. Democracy does not reward wisdom, it rewards persuasion. The man who understands reality loses to the man who can manipulate perception. The honest lose to the charming. The disciplined lose to the theatrical." Plato said, "The heaviest penalty for declining to rule is to be ruled by someone inferior." That is...
Now. Woo! Now.
He was way ahead of his time.
Now, I think that maybe Donald Trump read Plato.
Could be.
And was like, you know what? I think he might be right. Let's do that. What's wrong with your ear, bro? Is your ear okay?
Yeah, Mark. There's some wax in the ear.
Okay, you can hear everything okay?
Yeah.
All right. I think Donald Trump might have read that from Plato and was like, that looks like a good strategy. Let's do that.
Oh, that he followed that playbook.
He's fucking entertaining as shit. I'll tell you that. But it's kind of like this, and if I can find it, I will put it in the show notes. It's kind of like this essay that I read that I tried to share with Talking Head, but they have no patience for anything other than... Talking Head and his girlfriend nowadays have no patience for anything that's not surface level interaction. So I was trying to share this essay, and they didn't have the patience for it. It's called Meditations Upon Moloch. It's long. Sorry. I mean, you know, if you don't like it, stop reading it. But it's basically about how a democratic civilization produces a race to the bottom. You're always going to have the worst outcome because of competition. And how evolution, although we see it as competition, which is a natural law, works on a slightly different variant of what we have established in a hyper-capitalist society like the USA. So I think that's what Plato was saying. If you have a democracy, it's always going to be a race to the bottom. It's just going to get worse. And the more democracy you have, the quicker it will get bad. I think that's what he was saying.
Yeah, well, that sounds reasonable.
I mean, we're not disagreeing so far. So let's move on.
It's mob control.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, Talking Head, Anton LaVey and I do not agree with egalitarianism. Here we go. All right. Here's the next video. Now, this I thought was fun just because I hate religion, but I thought it was also apropos. So I included it in our playlist today. All right. So let's get this full screen. Here we go.
Christian, I would follow the devil and not...
If I were a Christian, I would follow the devil. I can never pause this before the first word starts. So if I were a Christian, I would follow the devil. Here we go.
Not the God described in this book. Why? Because in the entire Bible, the devil never killed anyone. Not once. He tempts, he lies, and he accuses.
Does he lie?
Yes, but kill, never. But the God of this book, He flooded the entire world. He burned the inhabitants of Sodom and Gomorrah alive. He killed all the firstborn of Egypt, including sleeping children. He told his people to slaughter women, children, elders, babies, and even animals. He opened the earth to swallow entire families. He turned a woman into a pillar of salt for looking back. He sent bears to tear apart 42 children because they mocked a bald prophet. He wiped out entire nations in the name of his justice. He ordered his people to leave no survivors. He punishes, he strikes, he destroys, and yet it is the devil who is blamed. This God is the very definition of cognitive dissonance. He says,
Let's stop it there. Woo! So much to unpack. So much to unpack. So first of all, does the devil lie? Well, in Genesis, God says to Adam and Eve, and Harry, you'll remember this because you're a big Bible buff, says to Adam and Eve, you may eat of any tree within the garden except for the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, because if thee eat therefore of that fruit, therefore thee shall surely die. Something like that. That's an exact quote. I am a trans man. And then the serpent says, whoa, God's lying to you. If you eat, the reason he doesn't want you to eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil is because if you eat of that fruit, you shall become like him, knowing good and evil. It's not because you're going to die. He's lying. Then what happens? Eve eats the fruit, gives some to her husband. They both eat it. And what happens? Do they die?
They got thrown out of the garden.
But did they die?
No.
Okay. Now, they became mortal, apparently. That's one of the reading into it. I don't agree with that. I think they were just they were ignorant of the inevitability of their death. And this is all metaphor. This didn't happen. I think that in the metaphor, they were ignorant of the inevitability of their own death, and then they had awareness of the inevitability of their own death, just like their own nakedness. They were not aware of their naked. They were still naked. Just like I think they were still
but
mortal.
They didn't think about it.
Right. They were still mortal.
Yeah.
They were still naked. They just didn't think about it. That's right. I think it's the same thing. So basically, they eat of this fruit, and then God comes around. He's like,
where are you, Adam?
What are you guys doing? I don't see you around here. Where is you? And then they're like, we're over here. We're over here. And God's like, why do you have your genitals covered up? I kind of like looking at those. Why do you have them covered up? And like, we realized we were naked.
Who told you were naked?
Who told you were naked? That snake over there. And he said you lied about eating the fruit, and he was kind of right. And God goes, well, gather round, ye other folk that are never described in the Bible unless you have the book of Enoch. For, now we are a we, for a man has eaten of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. Therefore he has become like us. Who's us? Well, open to speculation, I suppose. He has become like us, God and the other ones. We have to kick him out of the garden lest he eat of the fruit of the tree of life and therefore would live forever, which means he was already mortal. See, I'm thinking. Now, who lied in that scenario? Because it sounds to me like the serpent told the truth. God was the liar. God said, if you eat of this fruit, you shall surely die. And the serpent said, nah, he doesn't want you to be like him. Who lied?
Who lied? Well, let's put it, remember I gave you that verse of the Bible from Matthew 19:17, and Jesus said, bring my enemies before me.
And slay them in front of me.
Slay them in front of me.
Christians don't like to talk about that one either. But here's the thing. So in this video, the only thing I take umbrage with is the devil lies. I can't remember a passage where the devil lies. I can remember plenty of passages where God lies. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Other than that, I would follow the devil instead of God, because God, all over the place, commits genocide. All over the place. The devil never does. Now, the reason why I thought this video was apropos to our discussion is because of Zionism, ladies and gentlemen. Zionism. Now, let me say this once again, will you stop kicking your plate around? Which I have said on previous podcasts. If you are a little hat person, I have nothing against you. If you're a Zionist, you can fucking go to hell. You can go to hell. I will bring you there personally. Me and the devil, we're like that. Ching ching, I got a door pass. I will bring you in and make sure that you get raped for as long as eternity can last before your spirit is fragmented into so many little bits that I can devour them myself. I don't even need Karanzan to devour your soul. The great crocodile of the Nile. Time itself. I will do it. I will fragment your soul in hell so hard that I can eat it myself. Okay? That's how much I hate Zionism. Not because of what it stands for, Harry, and what we're going to talk about later when we talk about China. I don't care about ideology. One thing I do like about the Bible is when Jesus says, judge a tree by its fruit. And when we look at that description of God in the Bible from that little clip that we just showed, let's judge a tree by its fruit, shall we? Can we all agree, for example, and if we can't, you got some splaining to do. Can we all agree that an orgasm is good? And maybe dying in hellfire or being turned into a pillar of salt or committing genocide is bad? Can we all agree on that? If you're sitting there right now doing mental gymnastics to get around your own emotional routing, to explain to me why violence and turning somebody into a pillar of salt and committing genocide is good, and an orgasm is bad, then we have nothing in common as far as the common parlance of English language and our morality, and we can no longer have a conversation. Sorry. We're both two different creatures. If you think that violence and genocide is good and coming is bad, we are a different species. And that's why we call my species Satanist. So, Harry, what do you think? Would you, in that scenario, would you follow the devil or God?
I studied both ends. And somewhere in the middle, I got to see what's right and what's wrong. And as far as the Bible's concerned, more people have died because of religion or someone else's version of it. And the human being or the human nature, which is controlled by the body, which gives you pleasures, that is as natural as breathing. Like
you said breathing, not breeding. Breathing. But they're both very natural things. It's as natural as breathing. You have to follow your pleasures.
Yes, well, so that's the way our body.
That's the way evolution's set up, by the way.
Yeah.
Evolution is set up so that you have a pain mechanism and a pleasure mechanism, and you chase pleasure and you deny pain and run from pain, or stratify yourself against pain, or fight things that could hurt you. Which causes pain, but ultimately would lead to greater pleasure. That's the whole mechanism of fucking evolution.
Yeah.
So to create a religion that tells you every time you experience pain, that's a good thing, and every time you experience pleasure, that's a bad thing, that's a no-no, it's basically upending natural law. Who's the real villain in this fucking story that you all are so enamored with in this 5,000-year-old book? Who's the real villain?
Well, let's talk about eugenics. Let's talk about the Planned Parenthood.
I'll talk about whatever the fuck you want to talk about, baby.
Yeah, well,
I'm on
the
fire
whole point
tonight.
is, who's doing it? It's man that's doing it.
Yes.
They're doing it to control numbers and all sorts of stuff. So, who's the evil one? It don't say Satan's aborting these children.
No.
Nope. It's people doing it.
People are doing it.
And I wouldn't say, I ain't going to say what color these people are, but I'm saying.
What the fuck?
It's about control.
Okay.
Control of a human being or control of a certain race.
Now listen, juice can be of many colors. Apple juice is kind of like a light brown.
Yeah.
Orange juice is orange.
Yeah.
Grape juice is purple.
Yeah.
Juice can be of many different colors. So I don't understand where you're coming from with the color thing.
Right. No, but the thing is, they will control. It's a matter of control situation to keep slaves.
I think it's a matter of an ideology.
Yeah. Ideology will create one enemy against the other, but who's the real enemy and who's telling the truth?
Here's what I've always said to Talking Head and our father Kevin. I've always said, if you want to see what evil looks like, look into the areas where there are small groups of people that are concentrating tremendous power. Because it's a race to the bottom. If you want to have power over other people, and you think that is the wicked thing, which personally I do. And it's like Anton LaVey said in one of his interviews, and I agree with him, it's not very satanic to want to take anything or anybody against their will. So I will hurt people, but they're crying out to be hurt. They almost want to be hurt by their actions. So that's, my morality is very specific, situation to situation, and it's very ingrained in my gut. If I wake up the next morning, I'm like, that was awesome. I did the right thing. Like when I had my first gangbang or my first orgy. I woke up the next morning, I was like, that was great. First time I kicked somebody's ass that was way weaker than me, woke up the next morning, did not feel great about it. Even though she was asking for it. So you could be like, yeah, but according to your rules. No, wait. Everything's open to nuance. Shouldn't have done it. Now, what happened was they wanted to get out of the house and they were shit hammered. There was no reason for them to leave. They woke me up freaking out and tried to leave. I was like, you're shit hammered. You shouldn't go anywhere. And my idea, I'm trying to protect you from yourself. And then they knocked me out. And I came out of it and I was like, oh, now it's on. And I beat the shit out of the person. Woke up the next morning and I was like, should have let them kill themselves in a car crash. Now, if I had let them go, and I found out the next day they had died on their way home, that I would have been okay with, rather than beating the fuck out of them.
It's like being a slave master.
So morality, it's in the moment, and you got to make the right decision, and we learn as we go along. But as far as this all goes, kind of looks like God in this story is the fucking antagonist and the devil's the one that's trying to help us out.
No. It's like being a slave and a slave master. The slave master has slaves. The slaves become his responsibility, and you have to care for them like a bunch of little children. And maybe you felt like a slave master say, I can't let these people go because if they kill themselves, it's going to make me feel bad. But once you realize they're free agents and they want to go, do what you want to do.
You got to treat them like adults. Your problems are your problems.
Right. You don't want the responsibility. And that's what it comes down to.
Hey, listen, that sounds like a you problem. Not a me problem.
Right. I don't want the responsibility of having any animals because I went through that. That's over with.
You're talking about pets.
We're talking about cats, dogs, fish, whatever pet you want. Human beings are not pets. They're individual people that have to make their choices and they got to live with it. Everybody who makes their choice in life has to go with the consequences.
Now, if somebody wants to be a pet, and somebody wants to be a pet owner, and they both happen to be of the human genome, I don't have a problem with them expressing that. That sounds like a perfectly
It's a trade-off.
Viable relationship. You want to be the slave, you want to be the master. Usually this happens in sexual encounters, but there's a lot of them that are asexual encounters where somebody just wants to be subjugated and somebody really likes subjugating.
Yeah,
That's fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is when you try to take something against its will. And I'll bring it back to the Sandman quote once again. That guy that Sandman and his sister Death give immortality to in the story. And you always make fun of me for watching stories, but I think you can learn a lot from stories. Now, what they do is they give this man immortality. And then a few hundred years later, because Sandman says to him, I'm going to meet you every 100 years because I want to hear about your experience. 300 years later, this guy ends up in the slave trade, and now he's very wealthy. And the Sandman says to him, who is the god of dreams, by the way, if you don't know, says to the guy that they gave immortality to, it's a poor thing to take somebody's free will away from them. And the guy goes to him, well, wait a second. You told me I could do whatever I wanted with my life and my immortality. And the Sandman goes to him, well, yes. However, would you take that same right away from somebody else? And the guy goes to him, well, I see that you've given me something to think about. That's all it comes down to. Now, the reason why I showed this video is because there are people that believe in this ideology that the little hat people have a right to this land that's defined in the Bible, and they're doing Old Testament wrath of God type shit because in the Old Testament they are promised everything from one river to the other. I fucking even remember what it fucking says because I don't care. It's not interesting to me. But there are people in power that believe this shit, and it's dictating politics regardless of profit. I always assumed that politics ran on profit, and it seems like there's ideology over profit, so you can't even predict their motives based on what would be best for them. You have to predict their motives based on a fucking 5,000-year-old book that was written by a bunch of people that lived in the goddamn desert. And we're still living that torture today. That's crazy. BB is a cunt. And YouTube, I am a trans man. But BB is a fucking cunt. He's a cunt. And everybody that backs this up, whether you're a Christian pastor or not, I think you're a cunt. Prove me wrong. I think they're cunts.
Well, didn't one of our famous rabbis said the United States is our pot to pick, and we're going to pick everything out of the United States for what it's worth?
A similar passage is 100% in the Talmud or the Torah. I don't care enough to know. So stop commenting and picking apart my arguments. I don't care enough to know. It's in one of the books that the goy are not allowed to read.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely in there. I'll find it. Yeah. Yeah, they did.
And you know what? They're the only country surrounded by everybody that's their enemy, and they're only in power because we support them.
How wonderful would it be? I can't even wrap my head around it because I'm actually smart. Much to my detriment. Not quite smart enough to be aloof to all of this, but smart enough to see what's going on. I have a huge Salieri complex with the rest of the world. How great must it be to actually believe there's an all-powerful sky daddy that says that you're part of his chosen people and everybody else is beneath you? Wow, that must be. That means no matter what you do, you're amazing. You can do whatever you want. It's just like being a Christian. You can do whatever you want as long as you confess. Repent and confess, but you can do whatever you want, but repent and confess. Holy shit. Now the world that I live in, Unfortunately, because I have a brain in my fucking head between these two fucking ear cavities and behind my rolly eyeballs, I live in a world where there are actions and consequences. Go figure.
Well, that's consequences happen. But people want to cry and say, well, the devil made me do it. The devil didn't make you do anything.
I try. I'm getting better at it. Yeah. And as long as you say the devil made me do it, you're saved. You're saved. You're saved. Yeah.
You're forgiven. You did your confession. Give me 10 Hail Marys, and you pay into your 10% of your income into the church, and we'll save you.
Now, here's what happens if you go back to the devil after that. If it's not working out for you, you go back to the devil, and he's like, dude, I didn't tell you to do that. You're just a cunt. Well, what do I have to do to be saved? Nothing. You can't be saved. You're a cunt. You did that all on your own. I did not tell you to do that. I told you this is the way the world works, and then you decided to do the shittiest thing possible because you're a cunt. I didn't make you a cunt. You decided to be a cunt. That's what the devil's going to say to you.
Well, the responsibility's on you. You did it. You spilled the milk. The milk is gone. You can't make no excuse for it.
All right. So I wanted to show that because it kind of shows that video. It looks a little shoehorned, but I decided to leave it in because it kind of shows just a paramount spiritual philosophy that these people believe in that are largely controlling the military that is the United States of America. It was very disturbing to me. I'm disturbed by it. Now, here's the next video. Oh, I got to put it back over here, I think. I'm trying to do this right. All right, then we go back over here. And then we hit F. God damn it. Hang on. I'll get this. Yay! And then we can watch a Tucker Carlson.
Ex-CIA agent.
No, he tried. He tried out. I don't think he got in.
He tried that?
I think he tried out and he didn't get in. I don't remember, but I think that's the case. Interview with somebody important whose name I forget. Let's check it out.
I'm thinking about the right of the Jewish people to their homeland. Do the Irish have the same right to a homeland?
As long as they can defend it, and as long as they,
as long as they can defend it.
Who is that?
The governor of Arkansas.
Yeah, but he is the Israeli ambassador.
Yeah, and really, yeah.
Yeah, so whoever that is, people, go look it up. I'm not going to look it up. The Israeli ambassador, this fucker.
But Tucker, here's the point.
Wait a second.
I'm telling you.
Wait, hold on. You're the minister here.
Yeah, and I'm telling you.
As long as they can defend it. And if they can't defend it, they lose
me
the
to
right.
tell you that I think that what is very, very special here is that there is a biblical as well as an ethnic and a historical. So you can take any one, but if you add them all together, you have a very strong case. And they still continue to find things that date the Jewish people to this land for 3,800 years.
We can date the British people to their land much longer. Stonehenge is 3,000 years older than any building built by the descendants of Abram in this country. It's fine. I'm not trying to invalidate anyone's right. I'm just wanting you to affirm that right, but it makes you uncomfortable and you won't. And I don't know why.
Because I've never honestly sat down and asked myself, are the lines around the
It's an
United
island, so we know what the
Kingdom-
lines are.
I'm saying, but are those lines rooted in something other than the historical connection? Well, great. Then they should have it. But
And
that's
they have a
question.
right to have it. But then you said if they can defend it, and if they can't defend it, they lose the right.
But I didn't say it was exclusive one or the other. I think you're really going off the track.
Wow. This guy's such a cunt. This guy's such a fucking cunt. I gotta find out his name.
Tell everyone. You spent a lot of time thinking about the right of the Jewish people to their homeland. Do the Irish have the same right to a homeland?
Who is he interviewing?
Mike Huckleberry.
Mike Huckleberry, thank
Former
you.
Baptist minister.
No, Mike Huckabee. Mike Huckabee.
He was a minister.
Yeah.
He was a minister
Right.
before he ran for president.
Right.
And he's indoctrinated.
What a cunt! He is right there. He is at the apex of the Zionist sphere of influence. Well, they're special people.
Yes.
They're special people. And that's what this whole fucking country and its military in the Middle East is based on right now. They're special people. The little hat people are special people. They're special people. Not Americans. Not you. Not me, not people that live in this country whose infrastructure is crumbling, and because the infrastructure is crumbling and our government is not taking care of it, you have less and less options as the years go on. Not us. They're special people. They're very special, Harry.
Yes, they are.
Yes.
God chose them.
God chose them.
And what's their sign between them and God?
I don't know. What's the sign between them and God?
Circumcision.
Hey, listen. Chop off a little piece of your wiener, and I'll know you're serious.
Yeah.
Just the tip. Just the tip.
Chop off your foreskin on the 8th day.
On the 8th day of Christmas, my Jew love gave to me. Chop off your wiener. And there was nothing in the pear tree.
That was called the brisk.
The brisk.
And I'd like to know what the rabbis did with the little foreskins.
I don't know. There's a lot of theories around that. That all sounds like Jews drink the blood of Christian babies with straws sort of bullshit. Like they eat the foreskins or they turn them into pancakes. Dude, relax. Relax. There's plenty of things to actually be upset about. There's a whole ideology here that's called Zionism. That's something to actually be upset about. I don't care if they eat the foreskins of babies because they're already cut off. I have a problem with them mutilating male babies. That's a problem. Once it's cut off, I really don't care what they do with it. If their motivation to cut it off is because they want to eat it, then the motivation is the problem. However, currently stated, the problem is they're mutilating babies and also their ideology, where we're going to kill anybody that thinks that we can't have this land that we were promised. A lot of people were saying that after Russia takes over to Ukraine, they're going to take over all of Europe. Now, once the Jews take over everything that was promised them in the Bible, are they going to stop there? Interesting question. But the United States seems to have very specific opinions about both things. Interesting. Why do you think that is?
Well, the United States is just...
Because I don't know. I don't know why one is better than the other.
As long as they don't put the body parts in our McDonald's hamburgers.
Oh, come on. Stop.
Come on.
Stop with that. Will you stop with that? We're trying to have a serious discussion
But they
here.
did have cannibalism in the Bible. When they surrounded the town,
well, that's neat.
They starved the town, and the Jewish people ate their own to stay alive.
Yeah, but was that condoned by God?
Somebody told them to do it.
That's true. The little hat people generally don't do anything unless they think somebody else told them to do it. Also, kind of, God wants me to be happy because I'm the chosen people. That sounds familiar. The Great White Huntress. I can see why you turned to Judaism. That sounds familiar. All right, let's move on. Now, this is interesting. This is Candace Owens. Let me go back over here.
And that's that English guy that's a little outspoken. Pearson, something like that.
I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't know who any of these people are. I don't care anymore.
They're players.
I'm moving out.
You going to China?
I'm going to China.
Maybe you get a better deal there.
I'm moving out. All right, now it's centered. Let's play it.
America wants a regime change in Iran is because Bibi Netanyahu is demanding it. And we also are completely done with the idea that, this decades-long idea that we're doing it to spread democracy because we believe in international liberalism. There was no imminent threat to the United States when Trump made this.
Hey, Donald Trump even said about Venezuela, it's because we need the oil. So, yeah, let's get the ideology shit out of your head, except when it comes to Zionism, because this seems to be the only ideology that actually has money backing it up.
Decision to do what Bibi wanted. And I want to be clear here. This was not Trump's decision. It was Bibi Netanyahu's decision. And that is the reason that he did it. And we're very aware that Israel is dictating our foreign policy, and we would now like that to stop.
Okay, but you wouldn't disagree, presumably, that Iran has been the main sponsor of terrorism in the Middle East through the Houthis, through Hezbollah, through Hamas. I mean, that's widely accepted and recognized. They've done
Widely accepted. No, that's just kind of...
Really? You don't think they have?
Has been a terrorist state. Okay, Israel right now is imparting a genocide and a Holocaust on the Gazan people. So I'm really over this idea like somehow Israel has the moral high ground and we have to get behind them.
I didn't say that.
We've got to go after the bad guys. So it's rich to me that people are concerned about Iran having nukes. But I'm concerned about Israel, who won't even admit that they have nukes, having nukes, while at the same time they are executing a genocide and a Holocaust in Gaza that the world is watching. So who's the bigger terrorist is the question to this.
Oh, sorry, you lost that one while I was watching. Holy shit. He lost that one. I think Candace Owens came out on top on that one. What do you think?
Well,
who's the biggest terrorist state? Iran or Israel?
No, you just study the history of Israel, and the Israel Defense Force or the Mossad. They got a history of doing a lot of assassinations.
Yeah,
a lot.
Well, also, like, you don't even have to study the history. Just look at what they're doing right now. Let's judge a tree by its fruit. Now, when I look at a tree, like my little Buddha tree here, I'm not gonna say, what did you do 2 years ago? What did you do 500 years ago? What did you do 1,000 years ago? I'm going to judge the tree by what it's doing right now. Are you bearing good fruit? If not, there's a problem. Right now. We don't even have to study the fucking history.
Right.
Just look at what they're doing right now.
Well, they're very efficient with our pocketbook and our money that they're getting from us. And in fact, I would say it's a possibility that Israel is enslaving the American taxpayer and footing the bill.
Yeah. It seems that way to me. So I started thinking, do I want to bring this up now or later? I started thinking, I seem to be living in a daily conflict. No matter how much I try to remove myself from the world, all of my media, all of my input, because even if you go in media blackout and you just talk to other human beings face to face, they're highly influenced by the media that you are blacking out on your own behalf, right? So if I talk to you, most of the information that you're getting is not from sitting around on your porch watching the cars drive by, where as I would go to you and be like, how's life? You'd be like, it's fucking pretty cool. I'm just watching the cars drive by. I went to the grocery store. It was a little crowded. Like, that would be all of your input. But because of the media, I come to you and I'm like, hey, what's going on? You're like, tax fraud and the government and the IRS. And wake up, white people, and this orange Cheeto and this fucking Kamala Harris and fuck Ghislaine Mack. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, even if this is what I've discovered, even if you do a media blackout, you can't escape it. You have to go somewhere else.
Well, do you think China's better?
I don't know.
Let's compare them.
No, but let's look at what's actually happening. I thought this was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to start here. I don't know if China's better. I really don't.
to leave the United States at unprecedented levels. I'm Natalia, and my work revolves around helping Americans move abroad. What I have been hearing in my client consultations is now being echoed by Henley & Partners. Henley & Partners has been tracking global migration and relocation trends for more than 20 years. According to a recent article, American applications for relocation programs were up 67% higher in 2025 than all of 2024 combined. And in 2024, they were already up 60% year over year. This is now a trend, and the reasons being cited are political and economic anxiety. For the
Go figure. Political and economic anxiety. Really?
Yeah.
Why would anybody be feeling political or economic anxiety in
Because
America?
they've been lied to and they're being robbed, and they'd rather go someplace where they could afford to live, not exist.
Not exist, not struggle, not fight, not war.
We're existing right now.
Well, we're warring, right? We're not even existing. Existence would be preferable. See, living is the best.
Yeah.
Existence, subpar. Warring, hell.
Right.
Right now, we're living in hell.
Yeah, well, we do. Because it's a hell just to try to survive.
Right.
So who's controlling hell? Who's behind it all?
Who's the current devil?
Yeah, and why are they doing it? It's called enslavement, and they're not putting chains on us, but they're putting enslavement by our pocketbook.
Now, I wish I saved this video. There was a video that I saw that said, I'm going to try to remember this correctly. Who is the richest country in the world according to GDP? The United States of America.
Yeah, on paper.
The United States of America has the highest GDP in the world.
Right.
They're number one. Now, if you break down that GDP by hours worked, America drops from number one to number 6 because Americans generally work 60 to 80 hours a week just to survive.
Yeah, enslavement.
So because we work so many hours just to survive, if you break the GDP down by hours worked per citizen, we drop from 1 to 6. So it's a big squeeze. They're trying to make it difficult for you to survive, so you work harder. Do you get it? Wake up, America! American people. I wanted to do like a thing where it sounded like wake up white people, but it's not about race. I don't know. We got to think of a thing. Wake up, free people, but you're not free. Wake up, slaves.
Wake up, monkey heads.
Wake up, you troglodyte hairless half monkeys. Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of people want to leave the United States and are actually beginning to build organizations because now it's profitable to help Americans do that. So let's check this video out. Sorry it takes me so long to do this, but I want to make sure I'm not skipping around. All right, let's check this one out.
That China was this closed-off police state and no one could go there, and of course nobody wanted to go there. And America was the land of the free where everyone wanted to be. And I remember when I was young, hearing China was a police state where anyone could be arrested for anything, which really meant you could be arrested for nothing. But in the U.S., police were honest, and if you weren't doing anything wrong, you had nothing to worry about.
Yeah, until ICE started shooting people in the fucking face. Oh, okay.
Totally flipped now. And China is the open country. It has 52 countries with no visa requirements, including now this week, the US and Canada. You just show up, with a passport, walk in, do business, visit family.
So you can go to China right now with just a passport and chill the fuck out, check it out. You don't even need a visa.
Obligations, no problem. But the U.S. just banned travel from 39 countries outright and froze immigration visas for 75 more countries. It's totally flipped. China is the place that welcomes people, and the US is the closed off, scary place because there is now literally this paramilitary force of secret police that raid churches and courthouses and pull people off the street, and they have authority to detain anyone and even kill them. Trump's America is the scary police state, and China is the land of the free. Totally flips. Join us for more international perspectives and cultural perspective.
Now, I think he's got an interesting point. Let's just go right on to the next video real quick. And I wanted to have more videos of Americans that moved to China and their experience. Unfortunately, I didn't save them because I was like, oh, I'll remember that. I'll remember that. And I wasn't thinking about the podcast. But this is one that I did catch.
Easy it was for me to move all the way to China as a black American without speaking a language, without knowing Chinese people. I didn't know anybody. I'm not gonna lie, the whole process seemed fake. I'm not gonna lie. One thing you need to understand, in China, you pay cheap prices, but you receive premium service. So I went apartment shopping, but I could have moved in the same day. So for example, I seen one apartment for around 300 USD per month. If I really wanted that apartment, all I would have to do was go downstairs to the office, provide them my passport, fill out the paperwork, pay the deposit, and the apartment is mine. I'm moving in the same day. Everything is fully furnished. The power is on, the water,
nobody's trying to fuck you.
TV, everything is there. Like,
you know why?
In America, you got all these.
Because it's illegal to fuck people. Billionaires have been executed in China for fucking people. In America, if you fuck people and you're good at it, you get a fucking halo.
These fees, application fee, pet fee, it's none of that. You got proof of income. Bro, listen, it's all a fucking scam. No proof of income, no credit check, no application fee, no pet fee. Let me tell you what makes it worse.
No proof of income, no application fee. Anybody that's tried to rent an apartment in America recently understands that you have to pay a $50 to $56 application fee per rental that you're looking at. You have to spend $500 before you find somebody that fucking considers you. Because in America, the attitude is, fuck you. There are other people that want it. Even though 30% of the housing in America is being held by BlackRock, empty to drive up prices, just like the diamond trade. Yep. As long as we make housing less available and drives the prices up and it becomes less affordable, we make more money per unit. It's simple math.
China has the opportunity to charge foreigners for application fees because at the end of the day, we're not Chinese, but yet they still make it easy. And then once you move into the apartment, you just lay in the bed like, damn, I can't believe I really just moved into this apartment within 24 hours. I traveled around China for 2 years straight.
All right. So go ahead and fucking tell me this is propaganda. Because I look up on TikTok, or I got fed it in my algorithm, Americans living in China. One of the guys whose posts I love, unfortunately, I didn't save any of them. I wish I did. I just really love his channel, and I think I subscribed, but I didn't save any of them. He's married to a Chinese woman, so him and his wife and their 2 kids, his 1 boy and 1 girl, spend about half their time in China and half their time in the U.S. So he talks about like the differences, and I would say that he's a pretty good spokesperson to talk about that. Unfortunately, I didn't save any of those videos. But tell me this is fucking propaganda. Tell me I'm being lied to. Or is America lying to me, Harry?
America's lying to you. You go for a mortgage. You gotta prove income. You gotta prove your job.
Well, not only that,
and you gotta pay the goddamn lawyers.
But not only that, you end up spending more than double what the buying price of the house was with a mortgage.
Yeah. Well,
who's making all the money? The bank. Dooka. Little hat. The bank. The bank.
And the central bank is not from 1913. They have it that the banks cannot be taxed by the IRS. Isn't that funny? They make all that fucking profit, taking your blood, your sweat.
Is that right? They can't be taxed?
No, they can't be taxed.
I do remember talking about that on a previous podcast, and we looked it up.
We
looked it up. Yeah.
And that's a fact.
We looked it up, yeah.
So
I think there was one small caveat to that, but overall, I had to acquiesce that you were correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you buy a house, you got to put money down. The bank looks at it. Or if you buy a condo, you got to go before the board and they approve you. Well, I think that's wrong. If you need housing and you could afford the housing, they shouldn't put no barricades in front of you or get approval from somebody.
Well, now here's the thing. When you're working off of a profit motive, what most people who invest in real estate in the United States want to do is they want to buy property so that's an investment because they know that most likely over time it's going to go up in value.
Right.
However, in the meantime, they need somebody else to pay all the bills. That's why you get a renter. So the renter pays all the bills, upkeeps the property, and then eventually you can sell it for a 20 or 30% profit margin once the real estate value goes up in 10 or 15 or 20 years. So it's a sound investment in America. It makes sense. Now, what Xi Jinping said, he said, houses are not for speculators. They're for people to live in. So they made it illegal for people to use real estate as investment speculation. In fact, in China, and I don't know for people who are trying to move there, but for the Chinese, what they try to do is they try to make it extremely easy for you to buy your first house, and then they make it extremely difficult for you to buy your second house because they do not want you speculating. They do not want empty houses. If we have houses, people should be fucking living. After all, that's what they're there for, right? Oh, go figure. So that's their philosophy. And on top of that, Harry, did you know that just 20 years ago, China had almost the highest poverty rate in the world?
Yeah.
And did you know that they solved that problem? They went from a 98% poverty rate to a 0% poverty rate, which has been analyzed by independent resources like the I think it's the International Monetary Fund. I don't know.
International Banking?
Something
like that.
So they went from 98% poverty to 0 in 14 fucking years.
Maybe they got rid of the central bank.
Now, they went from 98% to 30%. Okay? And then they were at a standstill. They were like, we can't get this other... Do you know what they did? They set up a government agency where somebody from the government would visit a house that is technically living in poverty. And they would ask them questions. And you had a social worker from the government that would try to figure out why you were in poverty and try to figure out how to get you out of it. Does that sound like something America would do?
Yeah, but Donald Trump and the Clintons and the guy, our famous guy who owns the the computer business, Gates, they wouldn't like it because they got 3, 4, 5 pieces of mansions, and they wouldn't be able to do it.
Now, China has billionaires. I'm okay with billionaires. I don't have a problem with a profit motive. I never have. I'm not anti-capitalist. I'm not. Have your billionaires. I'd like to believe that someday, I'm never going to be a billionaire. I have no interest in working that hard, but someday I would like to be a millionaire. I think that it's possible. I'm a talented guy. I'm not stupid. However, and I'm not lazy. However, you know,
I wouldn't want to be a billionaire.
I would like to live in a place where it doesn't feel like the game is stacked against me. What I'm saying.
Well, the game is, if you become a billionaire and you got all this property, you got responsibility with it. I just want enough that the house gets paid off, I could live, I don't have to worry about food or heat, or I just take care of it. I'm very happy with that.
Here's the American dream. Oh. You can be born into nothing.
Right.
And if you work hard, you can have everything in the world. That's the American dream.
That's the total lie.
Right now it is.
Yeah.
I think 60 or 70 years ago, it was a fact.
Well,
but right now, it's absolutely a lie. And people are starting to wake up to it. So why would you want to be here rather than somewhere where you could just live a fucking life?
Well, in time period, Portugal was a good place to live, Spain, Poland, and 20 years ago you could live on your Social Security in Poland. Right. I don't know how it is today.
I don't know either.
And but people moved to Spain and Portugal and these countries, and they lived on their pension and their Social Security, and they did very well. They didn't become a Donald Trump thing, but they lived a decent life. The companies that we have today want to take your life away from you.
Yeah.
And want to keep you in debt for the rest of your life.
There is no... See, the American dream, back when it was coined, that phrase was coined, was about class mobility.
Yeah.
I don't see that we have that anymore.
No, that's gone.
That's gone.
The American dream is a nightmare now. You cannot even afford an apartment in New York. Because if you're paying...
I can't afford an apartment in Pennsylvania.
Well, that's because the New Yorkers and the guy from New Jersey's coming over here pumping
to
the price.
Speculate, yeah. Right?
Carpetbaggers from the Civil War.
There
Remember
you go.
that?
There you
we
go.
got brand new modern carpetbaggers in this country. So history's repeating itself.
There
again.
you go.
And if anybody remembers, if any people ever studied American history, my age, you know about it, but the new kids, you say carpetbaggers, they won't know what you're talking about.
And that was speculators from the North coming in to drive up the prices in the South after the Civil War.
Up.
Right, exactly.
So, the thing, this country, the hedge companies have taken over. And even the politicians, they got so much dirt on these politicians, the politicians don't want to do anything about it.
Class warfare! Oh my God, did that just pop out of my mouth?
Yeah. Class warfare in Detroit.
Oh my God.
It looked like Berlin.
I can't believe I just said that. That person who shot that person at BlackRock, he was obviously angry about the NFL. He was just on the wrong floor. He only targeted that one woman who was in charge of buying up real estate and bricking it to drive up prices so that they could make more money. I misspoke. I apologize. By the way, YouTube and TikTok, I am a trans man. Good.
Yeah, well, look at the prices of the houses gone in Pennsylvania now. They sold a waterfront property in this little part of the earth for $299,000. That is ridiculous, because if you could afford that $299,000...
Dude, the average across the country for a one-family home right now, nothing special, 2-bed, 1 bath, is over $500,000.
Yeah. And back in...
And by the way, once you're done paying off your mortgage, it's probably going to be about 1.3.
$1.3 million.
Right.
My son's got a house for $385. He will be paying $1.2 million without a doubt.
Well, probably 900 to 1.1 at least.
But he's already been offered $500,000 for his house. He only had the house 5 years. But where are you going to move if you sold the house?
Exactly.
And then let's put capital gains in there.
But wait a second, Harry. They're giving you the option to do a 50-year mortgage.
Oh, yeah, 50.
So now instead of buying a $500,000 house and paying 1.3, you can buy a $500,000 house and pay
$2 million.
Almost $2 million. Almost $2 million. Now, good for you, but your monthly payments are cheap. You're basically renting.
Yeah.
And hoping the next generation has the wherewithal to make sense of the mess you left them.
Yeah. Well, you got to break the mold. I mean, even if you don't have a mortgage, it costs you $1,000 a month.
Here's what it comes down to. I'm tired of fighting. All right, let me take a piss real quick, and we'll finish up this conversation. But I'm just tired of fighting. I don't want to live this way. It doesn't seem like a good way to live. So let's get a little bit into that. Let's break it down a little bit, pull back a little bit, get a little more introspective. What means freedom to you? How do you want to live? Because there's a good conversation to be had there, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. So what I wanted to get into was when I was talking to you earlier today about my idea of, hey man, I might live better in China. You were talking about trade-offs.
Yeah, it's a trade-off.
All right. So, and I was like, okay. Now, America is the land of the free, the home of the brave. Gotcha. Okay. You're not hooking up with that. But my point was when we were having the discussion was, what am I trading and what am I getting? So and your point was, so you're trading your individuality for a conformist way of thinking. And my point was, well, listen, nobody's going to change my way of thinking. I think what I think. My way of acting, certainly I will conform in order to a certain extent in order to better appropriate to the society that I live in. There is no society that is built specifically for me. So you just have to find the one that's closest to the way that you want to live and weigh your trade-offs. So what I was trying to say in our conversation earlier is, if I decide, and I can, and I find a way to, and I do, move to China, what, in your opinion, am I trading from moving to the U.S. to China? What freedoms am I giving up?
You wouldn't be trading much up because you got a different lifestyle from most. You're into your artwork. You be able to live a little better because I wouldn't call it a form of a socialist state, but you have more of a control over your economics. The government will not let the hedge companies rape you through the code.
That's true.
And I don't think they have an international bank.
I don't know.
But that's near here or there. But it would be fine for you.
So what I found from some of the videos that I didn't save, unfortunately. So for example, if you move to China, you don't know the language, you're not going to be able to get a really good job.
You got to learn Cantonese.
Yeah, it's going to take you a while. You're not right out of the gate. You're not going to be able to get a really good job because you can't speak the language. It's like the Mexicans that come here. Hey, maybe you were a heart surgeon in Mexico. Now you're picking fruit, motherfucker, because you don't know English. Okay, so that's the way it is. A fast food worker apparently in China makes an average of, and this is in American dollars, makes an average of $500 a month. The average one-bedroom apartment in China is $150 to $200 a month, depending on where you live. But that's the average. Cell phone bill, average $2 a month. Eating out, if you do it cheaply, average $2 to $3 per meal. So right there, an Uber drive for like 5 miles is like $3. So if you do it right there, that's your baseline for an average citizen of a country that says, hey, could I live there? If I have the worst job, could I still survive independently and have my pride? Well, if you can rent a one-bedroom apartment in an area with no crime and be able to afford to travel and be able to eat and be able to pay your bills and have a little bit of money left over at the end of every month without sacrificing your humanity. Yeah, you can do that.
If I went there with my pension the way I'm sitting, I could probably get a decent house, and I could live a lot better.
Yeah, you'd be in a very nice house with a swimming pool.
I wouldn't want a swimming pool,
but you could if you want.
I could if I want.
Yeah,
but I would have to. I would not be able to take none of my firearms there. That's number one.
That's true. That's true.
I'd be giving that up.
That's true.
But the only reason why I got my firearms because of the way this country is. They would probably hire me in construction because I got so many years in construction that I have a trade that is useful to build the country. I don't know if they'll hire me at 79 years old.
I don't think so. I think that the methods that they use in China are so far beyond what we're using currently.
Yeah.
And your knowledge is so far behind what we're using currently.
Yeah, well,
you'd have a lot of catching up to do.
But I'd probably learn it a lot quicker than most people.
Okay.
When I got the foundation. Now, I'll take all my books. Yeah, I'll take all my 3,000 books with me. That's not a problem. And I'd probably get a decent house, and I could live a lot better for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
But live in this country the next 20 years from now, my pension and my Social Security ain't going to be worth shit.
See, I think that people in America, like if I was to say to somebody in my family, hey, I'm thinking about moving to China. Why? Because I can live. Now, what we're doing right now, the New World Order broadcast, this is a podcast that we created because we're fucking angry, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you move to a place where you're not angry, what do you have to talk about? And I think, and I'm serious about this, I think that most people in this country are addicted. Try to imagine. Listen to the song by the Beatles, Imagine, or somebody who covered it, which did it better. There's a lot of them. Listen to those lyrics and think about just living life without the need to fight anybody that's trying to fuck you every second of every day. And you're like, well, what would I do? I think most people are addicted to that bitter sandwich of team sports in America. I'm on the blue team, I'm on the right team, and well, if there was nothing to complain about, what would I fucking do? Now, are there things to complain about in China? I've seen a lot of documentaries that were released by U.S. companies that would say yes.
It may be propaganda.
It may be. However, you know, if you can go there. So my question to Americans would be, if you could go somewhere else where you don't feel that fight or flight every day when you wake up, that noise that the Matrix is pumping into your head. Really good line from the newest Matrix movie where Keanu Reeves has the long hair, the newest one. And he meets Niobe, and they're sitting down having a drink. And she says, "You remember that? The silence? You don't realize how much noise the Matrix is pumping into your head until you're out of it." Can you imagine waking up every day and just being like, what do I want to do today? What do I want to explore today? Not waking up every day and being like, did we bomb Iran? Why did we bomb Iran? Who is forcing us to bomb Iran? Why are they forcing us to bomb Iran? What leverage are they using as a pivot point to make us bomb Iran? Okay. How are the techno-capitalists fucking us? Why are they fucking us? And what new technologies are they coming out with that they haven't announced yet that are going to further their capabilities to fuck us? What new tax incentives have they gotten from the government that are going to allow them to fuck us further? How am I paying to be fucked over? How many dollars am I paying to be fucked over? And how long is it going to take me to pay that off? Is the money even real? Are they just printing it? What's it based on? Let's do some research. Oh, it's the petrodollar. Oh, that's why we're going to war with Iran. Neat. Wouldn't it be nice to just wake up in a place where you're like, I got to go to work today, then I can come home and do whatever I want, and everything's fine. Well, like, is your identity based upon what you hate, or is your identity based upon what you love? Because frankly, if there was nothing for me to be angry, concerned, and have a tremendous amount of anxiety about, I can think of a lot of things that I'm interested in that I would like to pursue. For one, I'd like to play the theremin. A second one, I'd like to learn to play the piano. Third one, I'd like to focus on my painting. I'd like to study art more. I would like to get more into that. I don't need to be challenging people. I don't need to be fighting all the time. But I think that's, at this point, is kind of ingrained into American society where they're almost worried if they got to live in a peaceful situation every day, they'd be fucking bored.
Yeah, well, that's like retirement. When you retire, you say, I don't have to go to work now. I don't have to get 4 o'clock in the morning to take the train.
So in America, not being in a daily war and struggle
it's a daily war
is the
every
same
day.
thing as being retired.
Yeah, and when I did retire, I ended up going fishing a lot until I filled my freezer full of 200 pounds of fish. What am I doing with 200 pounds of fish? Then I started giving it to people.
So listen, imagine this. Imagine that you could do a job.
Yeah.
For 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Where even if it was a menial job, like frying burgers or teaching English to the locals. Let's say you worked 40 hours a week. You worked 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, you felt like you were contributing to your community. So you felt
I was not contributing to my community. I was doing this for the pension. Period.
Yeah, but I'm saying, imagine a place.
Oh, if I had a place that I only worked
what I'm saying is imagine a place. This is hypothetical.
Yeah.
Now imagine a place where you got to work 8 hours a day and you felt like the work that you were doing was valuable.
Right.
You were contributing to your community, your local community.
Right.
And in reciprocation of your contribution, you got to be able to live without asking for anything from anybody.
Right. Okay.
Can you now just imagine that?
I would probably...
It sounds kind of nice, but then with our American
attitude,
idealism, our attitude,
the attitude.
Oh, but what would you do on your spare time? Who would you fight?
What is the reason for the fight?
It's because you're getting fucked.
Right, and that's why you stay in the fight mode. But if I had a job for 8 hours and I had 16 hours left of the day, I take 8 hours to sleep. What do I do with 8 hours? Well, maybe I'll go fishing. Maybe I'll tie some flies. Maybe I'll go look at the temples they have and see if some of them would show me how they made their temples and the artwork there.
You'd explore the world.
I would explore the temples.
Go figure.
Because the temples are amazing how they built those temples out of stone. Yeah. They were craftsmen.
I think a lot of people in America are just addicted to the fight.
Well, they're conditioned to fight by the system. They're made to fight because they got to account for every minute of their time.
Can I be honest with you? I don't need it. I don't want it. It's not a necessary component of my identity.
Well, if you could free yourself from that, good. But the way this system is, they make you work, and they rape you at the end of the week with your paycheck. And when you get to a point of retirement, your Social Security is not going to cover squat.
I got no problem with working, but let me put it this way. Being an artist, you're working two jobs because you have to earn a living and then you have to create your things.
Right.
Now, thankfully, I found you and you're giving me an opportunity to focus primarily on the things that I want to do, and hopefully I can earn a living off that. But that takes time, and we're getting there. But, you know, if you could be in a place where, oh my God, I can work as a burger flipper and actually earn a living, then so I could work 8 hours a day flipping burgers. The other 8 hours a day, I could work on my artwork and marketing and build a business without needing somebody to take care of me.
Right.
Well, that would make me feel so much better.
For the person that you are.
Yeah.
I would like to go to the buildings that they make in China. I'm talking about the ancient buildings. I'd be very interested in that.
Sure.
But I wouldn't have to do the fighting that I did for the last 20 years.
Well, America's all about war. We have a war on poverty. Guess where that's gotten us? More
Down the
poverty.
toilet.
More poverty. We got a war on drugs. That got us more drugs. We got a war on everything that our government secretly supports. Here's the thing about America, the intelligence agency, all of the little hacks that the CIA has learned over the decades in order to control the people of different regimes, topple regimes, etc. They're using all those tactics on us now.
Yeah.
They're using it on us.
Well, first of all, they declared enemy on the American people. They forgot who they serve. They're supposed to serve us.
Oh, they have go watch the movie The Good Shepherd. The people in the CIA have a very specific idea about what America is, and it's not the people.
No, it's not. We're just a casualty.
It's like Matt Damon's character says to Robert De Niro's character, or what was it? That Italian guy. He goes, "Well, the Hispanics, they got their family, and the Italians, the Hispanics, they got their religion. The Italians, they got their family, and the Negroes, even they got their music and their art. What do you got?" And he goes, "We have the United States of America, and the rest of you are just visitors." Who are they identifying as? I don't understand what the political elite in this country understand as the true Americans. I don't get it.
I'll show you what the God of this country is.
All right, we're waiting.
This is your God, America.
It seems
this
like
is your banking system.
This
is what the government listens to. Like you said, on the war, Harry's war, when the commissioner said, "Harry Johnson, do you know what America is? It's all about tax money. This is your God. Wake up, people."
I don't know, man. It seems to me that there is an ideology for what America is supposed to be that the ruling class is privy to, that the rest of us are simply not. Because if we were made privy to it, we would try to conform to it because there would be a tremendous amount of opportunity there. We're just not privy to it. We're not taught it. We're not taught what it's supposed to be, what it is, what their idealism is for it. And I think it goes back to Sir Francis Bacon. We could speculate, but I'm just not seeing. I'm not seeing it.
Well, the elite, whoever the elite is, I don't care where they come from. The elite, Rockefeller was part of the elite. DuPont were, the Rothschilds, the Morgans, they were in power from 1870 to 1920.
Well, they're still in power now. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah. But the government has been bought and sold. Now, you can't be president because you can't be groomed for it. The Kennedy kids were groomed for that. All right? The reason why this country's in a little bit of turmoil because Donald Trump is an outsider and he was not groomed to be a president,
and yet he's acting like now in the second term, he's acting like every other one. And somehow Israel got under his skin.
Well, maybe.
And the Epstein files aren't being released. I wonder how Israel did that.
I know Donald Trump's not Jewish, but I think it's the question of who his friends are. You show me who your friends are, I'll show you what you are.
Yeah. Well, let's show a couple more videos here. And then we'll wrap up. We're getting a little long in the tooth.
I go to China, I would have to give up a lot of my ideas.
We're going to talk about that. I'm interested what you think. What you think you'd have to give up. Let's watch this.
No, I would have to give up that line of fear.
Let's watch this.
Yeah.
Just a quick update from China, and I wanted to talk about protesting, how it works differently here than it does in the United States. So here there's like a mayor's hotline, that's what they call it. It's 12345. So if you dial that on your phone, you can reach a government official who will then take your complaints, and then they pretty much act on them pretty fast. And I'll give you some examples. So it would be like being able to call your congressman, but it actually working. So here, when I first came in 2017, the bikes were a mess. They would all pile on the corners, and now they have clear bike parking around bike spaces. Also, I'll show you guys up here, people used to park their scooters all the way up here along the fronts of businesses, and it was really annoying. You can even see the old yellow area, like how there was a walkway where you weren't supposed to park. They ended up installing these metal barriers that they welded. That way scooters can't get through here. Now on top of that, there was another complaint because strollers couldn't get through. So then they did this, where you have to turn your stroller at an angle, and that way you can come in with a stroller, but a scooter can't come in. So there's constant iteration and change based on people's complaints or protests. It's not like they all come out in the street and, yell about what they want. They actually just call 12345, say, hey, this is the problem, this is what it's causing, and now you can see the new scooter parking where they all park far away from the buildings and everybody can walk up here and have a great day.
Pretty neat. Let's watch a few more videos and then we'll discuss this. Oh, I love this guy. So here's what I'm going after. Listen to this.
Mate, was to be completely useless to a world that insisted all the wrong things are important. So I became so good at one thing I loved until I was stupid at everything else. They called it laziness, I called it focus. Best decision I ever made was to be completely useless to a world that insisted all the wrong things are important. So I became so good at one thing I loved until I was stupid at everything else. They called it laziness, I called it focus. Best decision.
Yeah. Agreed. Last video. Here's the last video that I actually saved.
And I was just handed anti-communist propaganda, and I want to read some of these points to you, and I want you to let me know if any of them sound familiar as reasons that we got to get rid of communism. 1, destruction of personal freedom.
Yes, but also capitalism. Number 2.
2, economic disaster
and poverty. Yes, but also capitalism. Number 3.
Poverty. 3, moral erosion.
Mainly capitalism. Number 4.
4, loss of diversity and innovation. 5.
Do we need it? Do we need diversity and innovation's important? Yeah. So pure communism doesn't work, but also pure capitalism doesn't work. So I think China might have the right idea. And number 5.
5, corruption, government overreach, and violence.
Oh! Okay. Yeah. So, capitalism, also communism, but, yeah. So, here's what I want to get to. Because I could talk a lot about the videos that I watched that I didn't save. But, what do you think you're giving up? If you go there, you're like, I'm giving up my unique perspective. I'm giving up. What are you actually giving up?
Well, I would not. I would probably give up my anger that I got.
But here's the thing. Here's what I'm asking. Do you want to get rid of that?
It would be nice.
Or do you identify with it so much that it's frightening to get rid of?
No, I'm still in the war mode. I'm still in the combat zone that I know who my enemy is, and I got to prepare for the enemy. And if the government is my enemy because of what they're trying to do to me, that's one thing. But I'm thinking what they're doing to other people that don't even have the eyes to wake up.
Can you imagine living in a world where you don't have an enemy?
No, I've been too conditioned to be in the war zone.
Now, if you had the opportunity to live in a world without an enemy, would you take it?
It would be a nice dream, but I have to look at it. It would be nice.
But
would I do it?
As a hypothetical.
Would I do it?
As a hypothetical. If you could, because a lot of people, when you really sit down and think about it, like right now, I'm highly identified with the New World Order because I want to talk about shit that I think is fucked up.
Right.
But if I lived in a world where shit wasn't fucked up, what would I do? Oh, I would just appreciate beautiful things and do beautiful things. So a lot of people can't live, if they've been conditioned as much as you have, or I have, or most American citizens have, they can't even imagine.
No.
Because to them, being in a place where you don't have to fight sounds like a lack of freedom. Do you see what I'm saying?
It's like what religion gives you hope. The religion gives you hope the world's going to be fine. You got a savior there. He's telling you the world's going to be fine. But we're not in a world that's fine. We're in a fire hole right now. And now,
in America, we are.
Oh, yeah.
But the world's a big place.
Yeah. Well, I guess if I lived in a different society, I could get used to it.
So you could get used to being at peace?
I could. Well, I wish there could be peace, but as far as I see it, I don't have it now.
But if there was such a society that existed where you could just live in peace, could you adapt to that.
I would try. I definitely would try.
But you don't even know if you could. I don't even know if I could.
Well, that's
so much of my identity is built upon what I hate. That I don't know if I was in a situation where everything was good. I don't know if that would make me more or less miserable than I am now. That's so fucked up.
So it's a two-edged sword. What choice are you going to have? You couldn't live my life. I can't live your life. And what it is, somewhere in the middle, if we do get peace, it would be good. But most people can't even think about peace. They're so conditioned, like being brainwashed into a situation, like going to jail. You go to jail, there's a survival technique in there that you gotta have or you're dead.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way that I see this country right now.
So this country may be a jail.
That's the way that I look at it.
Yeah, it's a jail with rules.
I'm starting to see it that way.
Yeah, it's rules and regulations that if you don't follow, you're going to get eaten up. And
also, work harder than anybody possibly can. Otherwise, fuck you.
Work for the slave master.
Yeah.
And the slave master has no face. It's a faceless enemy. Yeah. Now, who's your enemy and why are they your enemy? Most people don't talk to each other.
My God wears the mask of my enemy.
Take your mask off. Let's see the real you.
My God wears the mask of my enemy. It has always been, and therefore it shall always be. It's basically the definition of a tribulation.
Well, we'll see what happens. Hope you like Chinese food.
Well, I do. Harry, I think we explored a lot of things today. We can get going on this unless you had any additional...
No, I tell America, wake up. I seen it, I'm living it, and I can't get out of it because there's no way out for me right now. So I'm in my foxhole.
I don't think you'd be happy out of one.
Well, that may be so. I'm so conditioned to that.
Yeah.
I have to find some peaceful means to surrender to not having so much anger.
Yeah.
But again, I admit I'm angry. Most people won't admit it.
No, you do. I get it.
But I'm upfront what I am. I got no mask on. I ain't going nowhere. So.
All right. Let's wrap this up. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much again for watching a New World Order broadcast. And just remember, we're watching you too.
Is watching. There are strangers